Hello and welcome again to Ms. Resumen. I have another news story for you. Do you want to hear it? Well, go ahead. Here come the spoilers. Naha is a sweet, innocent student who has dreamed since she was a little girl of winning Miss Iran, prestigious beauty pageant held at her school every year. That contest is held on an annual basis, and the winner of the previous year's male edition is a boy named Kaigo, an attractive young man desired by all the girls in the school. Winner of the female edition is a young woman named Yuri, daughter of the owner of a large cosmetics company and quite popular on social media, where she has over 500,000 followers on Instagram. Until that moment, the protagonist, lacking any self-confidence, has never participated in the contest, as she believes that her classmates do not want her to participate in the pageant. However, Keigo confesses his interest in Minaha, whom he considers a great person, and shows her his support to achieve her dream despite her situation. So the moment arrives to select the participants for the next edition of the contest, and Minaha thinks that no one is going to choose her. However, to her surprise, Yuri nominates her and convinces her to participate in the pageant, so she returns home full of joy for having fulfilled part of her dream. Nevertheless, after giving the news to her parents, she argues with them and tells them that she will finally not participate. The next day, and still with doubts about whether to participate or not, she meets with Yuri to try different makeup and take photos for the contest, and despite the change, she still lacks self-confidence. Higo, after seeing the photos, surrenders to the beauty of the protagonist and manages to encourage her to participate. Thus, Minaha returns with enormous enthusiasm to Yuri, from whom she asks for tips on how she should take care of her skin, since she is determined to take the contest seriously and try to improve her appearance in every possible way. Likewise, Kaigo convinces her to go for a run daily, and as is normal, love begins to bloom little by little, and everything is going smoothly. She has more and more feelings for him and even goes so far as to ask him on WhatsApp if he would like to watch a fireworks show with her. However, her joy begins to be cut short after a strong argument with her friend Yuri, which ends with the protagonist badly injured in the hospital. After arriving home and removing the bandages from her face, she discovers an enormous scar that makes her burst into sadness, believing that it will last forever. For this reason, she decides to lock herself in her room for an entire month, during which she does not attend school or exchange a single message with any of her friends. After this stage, she finally decides to attend school. However, she discovers Yuri confessing to Kaigo that she simply nominated her to make fun of her. At that very moment, Yuri realizes Minaha is listening in. So out of spite, she says she and Kaigo are engaged and even steals a kiss from her to make her jealous. Overwhelmed, the protagonist flees, thinking that Kaigo has also been laughing at her, and goes up to the roof of the building with the intention of doing the unthinkable. But at the last moment, Sora, a new student who just arrived at the school, appears to rescue the protagonist, who, through tears, confesses to the young man what happened and shows him the scar on her face. In an attempt to erase from her mind the idea of ending her life, exclaims that she must get rid of that mentality and develop the confidence she has always desired in order to be able to achieve her dream. His words have an effect, and the protagonist changes her personality completely. Subsequently, Yuri, upon seeing the scar on Minaha, apologizes to her, while at the same time affirming to Keigo that she does not love him and that he should distance himself from her. Afterwards, Yuri returns sobbing to Minaha, whom she hugs and asks to start from zero, justifying that she is the one who allowed her to participate in the contest and trying to distort everything that happened. Minaha, perplexed, does not know how to respond until at that same instant Sora enters the scene, the boy who rescued her. So both of them withdraw to talk and decide to keep what happened a secret. This situation leads their classmates to believe they are a couple. However, Minaha manages to clear up the misunderstanding by using a supposed welcome party for Sora as an excuse to explain their closeness and resolve the awkward situation. Subsequently, despite refusing to go at first, Minaha decides to attend the party, where she finds Yuri with Himari, one of her best friends, and Kaigo, who runs after the protagonist with the goal of having a conversation with her. At that moment, Minaha warns him that she witnessed the kiss between him and Yuri and that she is aware that they are engaged, so she asks him to stay away from her. After he leaves, Sora appears, who warns the protagonist about Yuri and the harassment to which she subjects Himari. Minaha, determined, returns to the garden with the intention of rescuing her. But she has such bad luck that she trips and falls into the pool in the middle of the argument with Yuri. After that, the makeup fades and all the attendees discover the scar on her face, with Kaigo being the only one who approaches her to help her like a true gentleman. And then Sora comes, who, in the final instance, pulls both of them out of the pool. After this, Minaha gets angry with Keigo, since she had warned him to stay away from her, and he apologizes for that. Subsequently, Himari visits Minaha, who gives her a gift on behalf of Keigo. In this way, Little by little, Minaha begins to remember the good times she lived with him and finally decides to forgive him upon realizing that he never had any intention of hurting her. So finally, they decide to attend together the fireworks show they had talked about previously. Once there, Kaigo shows interest in the scar on her face. However, she clarifies to him that the biggest scar she has is in her heart, but that despite that, she now accepts herself just as she is. Just then, Kiko assures her that he is proud of her and that he truly loves her. A moment in which Yuri appears together with her mother to talk to Kigo about a business matter between her company and the father of Kigo. Ugh, how inopportune. Anyway, the next day, Minaha decides to turn the page and tells Kaigo, even while being in love with him, that it is better that they maintain a friendship since she is afraid of losing him. Afterwards, Kigo meets with Yuri for a photo session related to the business, a situation she takes advantage of to flirt with him. But since he is also in love with Minaha, he pushes her away and shows her his rejection. To that, Yuri belittles the protagonist and assures her that she is much more suitable for him than Minaha. Oh, but what a desperate woman! Subsequently, Kaigo attends a meeting at the company of the mother of Yuri, who, after talking about business, proposes to formalize, for the sake of interest, an engagement between him and her daughter. Later on, after seeing a video in which Minaha expressed her feelings for him, Kaigo decides not to move forward with his engagement and abandons a date with Yuri to go look for Minaha and declare his love for her again. Meanwhile, Minaha is having fun with Sora until a young man appears who ridicules her for being dressed as Santa Claus. Then Sora defends her and ends up declaring his love for her while stroking her face, a moment that Kaigo witnesses just as he arrives. Ji, surprised, responds to Sora that she still does not have the necessary self-confidence, after which Kaigo leaves the place and laments over the words of Minaha. Determined to change his attitude, the next day he appears before her at school and begins to pay her compliments about her backpack and her uniform, which she shares with the rest of her classmates. Minaha, reticent to the praise, ends the conversation and Sora approaches, making proposals to help her win the contest. In this way, Sora introduces Minaha to his sister, who turns out to be the winner of the contest that years ago made her dream of participating and obtaining first place. Both begin to get along well, and she tells Minaha how her life was after winning that contest and how she now works in her laboratory, for which she has moved from another city. After that, while Sora and Minaha walk together down the street, Yuri records a video of them and shows it to Keigo with the intention of making him jealous. However, Keigo reacts in a more affable way. Said reaction the anger of Yuri, who goes to Minaha to provoke her and demand her daily gratitude for having allowed her to participate in the contest. What a disgusting person! And suddenly, at that moment, Keigo appears and desperately confesses his love for her, who again shows her lack of self-confidence. Oh, friend, why? Next, Keigo shows her an old photo of his face to prove that his current good looks are simply the result of having undergone plastic surgery procedures. Likewise, he confesses that he also suffered from harassment when he was little, both for his grades and for his physical state, and how after traveling abroad he decided to undergo said surgeries, of which he repents, given that everyone must accept themselves just as they are. And to top it all off, before leaving, he exclaims to Yuri that he does not love her, and that, despite being aware that Minaha loves Sora, he does not intend to give up since he is in love with the protagonist regardless of whether the scar is on her face or not. Boom, bitch. After those strong statements, the news of Keigo's surgery spreads, and he begins to lose job opportunities and suffer harassment again from numerous young people on the street. Subsequently, at school, his classmates ask him if the news is true or not, and after confirming to them that it is, they begin to demand that he withdraw from the beauty pageant, as they consider his participation to be unfair. At that moment, despite the good time spent with Sora, Minaha realizes that the one she really loves is Kaigo, since he was always by her side supporting her, despite everything that he himself had suffered. Sora, after finding out, is filled with sadness and begins to suffer in silence. In the afternoon, Kaigo refuses to attend school and Minaha runs away with him to the beach. While they're playing, the father of Minaha appears and discovers the two young people together, so he invites both of them to eat at his house. Great. During the meal, Keigo states that they are just friends, since Minaha loves someone else, which leaves our protagonist speechless while washing the dishes. That moment, being alone together, Keigo confesses to Minaha that the day he won the contest was the happiest of his life, so she encourages him to participate again. After convincing him, Keigo announces to his classmates that finally, and against the will of Yuri, he will participate in the contest again. After that, Yuri responds that neither of them should participate, at which point a classmate, fed up with the behavior of Yuri, exclaims that the only one who should not participate is Yuri herself, since she witnessed how she provoked the situation that triggered the current scar of Minaha. Yuri, however, claims that no one will believe her, but to everyone's surprise, her mother appears and apologizes on her behalf to Minaha, to whom she grants approval to participate in her contest. Boom bitch times 2. So Kaigo encourages Minaha to listen to the mother of Yuri and participate in the pageant. However, he decides to take a step back in his relationship with her upon suspecting once again that the one she loves is Sora and not him. After this, Kaigo tells Sora what happened, and they start to fight. Once both of them fall to the ground, they begin to talk about what happened, and Sora confesses to Kaigo that Minaha rejected him because he is the one she loves really. After which, Kaigo, full of emotion, leaves the place jumping for joy with the intention of declaring his love again to Minaha. Once he meets up with her, he decides that it is not the right place, so he arranges a date for later. A little later, Sora appears with a gift and a handwritten note for her, at which moment Kaigo appears again and thinks that he has lost the opportunity again. However, Sora decides to withdraw, and Minaha confesses to Kaigo her decision to participate only for her own satisfaction and not to please anyone else, to which Kaigo responds that he wants to confess something to her as well, but he will do it after the contest. In another scene, Minaha is shown meeting with the mother of Yuri to prepare the makeup and the dress with which she is going to present herself in the contest. Once there, Kaigo is the first participant and takes the opportunity to reaffirm himself as the most likely winner of the contest. Yuri, for her part, gets angry with her mother for having dedicated more time to the makeup of Minaha than to her own, and when her turn comes, she appears distrustful and downcast. After that, Minaha surprises everyone by appearing on the runway without any makeup and with a speech about overcoming and self-acceptance that leads to applause from an audience surrendered at her feet. In the end, Kaigo wins in the male category and in the female category wins Yuri. But when it is her turn to say a few words, she flees the place inconsolably. Once alone, she decides to throw away the crown. However, Minaha appears at the last instant to stop her. In a moment of weakness, Yuri confesses to Minaha that despite having won, she is the one who has received the applause and that she does not accept herself just as she is, just like Minaha does. Faced with those words, Minaha responds that it is the bad experiences that strengthen you and make people manage to accept themselves, and she offers her the opportunity to start from zero again after they both melt into a warm embrace. Be well. Finally, Kaigo appears with the shoes that Yuri had previously left on the runway when running away, and he puts them on Minaha as if she were Cinderella, and both declare their love for each other. After all that, even her friend Himari decides to also give a makeover to her image and begins a romantic relationship with Hayato, a friend of Kaigo. In this way, thanks to the people around her, Minaha is able to accept herself completely and be a happy girl who is sure of herself. Finally, of all of them, the one who ends up happiest is Kaigo, since he fulfills his dream of being with her. I think the moral is everywhere in this summary, isn't it? One must accept oneself just as we are and not fall into superficialities. Above all, one must cultivate inner beauty. That is how the summary ends. I hope you liked it. Finally, I would like to greet Alejandra Velasquez, Ariana Yolene, Estrella Alvarez, and Merlene. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.